this is going to be our last kind of follow along assignment. And because on our next assignment, you're going to take the things that we've learned in our last couple assignments, and you're going to make something of your own. But let's go ahead and do this kind of last follow along with me for this part of the unit, that is. And this assignment is called Making a Negative Relief. So in our last assignment, we basically made a rectangular box, and then our letters stuck out of that box, and we called that a positive relief. Well, this time we're going to make a rectangular box, and our letters are not going to stick out of it. They're going to stick into it. And I'm going to show you a couple other kind of fun tools along the way. And that's going to include a cut type extrude, making a shell modification, making a fillet. I'm going to pause right now. That word that I just highlighted, I know if you go to the meat counter at the store, it's called a fillet. But in architecture and in machining and 3D design, that's called a fillet. Just so you don't think that Mr. Conway's kind of lost more marbles than he already has. That is how you pronounce it in Fusion 360. And I'll show you also how you can view your design on the web and share out your design. Let's go ahead and get started with it. I'm right here in Fusion 360. I have a blank untitled design. Let's pop into my folder. Okay, I'm going to double click Learn Fusion. Okay, that's open. There's my CMS folder. And you can see there are my two design files. I have my CMS Positive Relief and my CMS Sketch. We're going to start this very similar to the way that we started the Positive Relief. Let's go ahead and save our untitled. And we're going to save that as CMS Negative Relief. And make sure that your location is correct. It should be in the Learn Fusion project and the CMS folder. I will click Save. And there you can see right there I have my new design file, CMS Negative Relief. And again, I could just do all my 3Difying from the CMS sketch right here, but then that would kind of completely cover up the sketch. So what I want to do is, just like I did the last time, is bring this sketch, CMS sketch, or bring all the stuff in this design into my new CMS Negative Relief design. And the way that I do that is I right click on CMS sketch and I insert into current design. And give it a second or two, and remember it wants us to move it around, but since the CMS is already centered around the origin, we're good to go. I will click OK. And there we go. We have our CMS sketch, and I'm going to make sure that I have perspective with ortho faces turned on. And we've got that. The very first thing that I want to do is I want to just kind of extrude the whole rectangle here. So I'll bring up my Extrude Tool with E on my keyboard. I'll go ahead and close my data panel. It gives me a little bit more real estate to work around with. And it wants to know, okay, well, what are the things you want to select? So I could just click and drag everything. Oh, that didn't select everything because I didn't cover up the whole design. All right, so I've got my rectangle selected. Now let's make sure that I also have my letters selected. And I'll go CMS like that. And over here's my extruder arrow. And just like before, we want to extrude it down. Let's go ahead and extrude that down like 15 millimeters there. And you can also type in -15, but that means I have basically a rectangular box that is 15 millimeters tall. I'll go ahead and click OK. I'm done with that extrude, and you can see that popped into the timeline right there. If I did not like how tall that was, I could always right-click on that and edit it. We don't need to. I like 15, so we'll keep it like that. And as a reminder, There is not a sketches folder in this design because the sketch that we see right here belongs to a different design file. So, and that's this CMS sketch design file with the link right there. Okay, we're going to have some fun now. All right, let's, before we start doing any of the negative relief cutting, let's use our view cube and go around to the back of the box. I'm going to show you a fun tool right now. It's called the shell tool, and what it does is it will basically like turn your 3D object into a shell. So if I wanted to make a lid for a box, for example, that had CMS on it, this would be the way that I'd want to do it. So the shell command is a modification of that solid body that we have. Oh, and let's actually pause right now. Before I get into that shell command, I forgot I need to go over here to bodies. And right here I have this body called body 1. Well, if I double click on it slowly, let's rename that to CMS negative relief. Okay, just so we get in that good habit of naming as many things as we can in our browser. All right, now let's get back to our regularly scheduled shelling. And that is up here in Modify. So I can click that Modify command, and it's right there. There's the shell command. There's no keyboard shortcut for it. And it's also up here at the top. I'm going to show you guys another trick. If you hit S on your keyboard, it brings up a search bar, and you can search for tools. So if you can't remember where one of the solid body modification tools is, oh, was that under the modify? Where was that? You could just hit S on your keyboard, and that will bring open this little search bar. And we know that we're looking for shell, so I could type in SHELL, and then I have two different shells. I have one for, I believe, the mesh workspace, that's the yellow color there, and I have one that's blue, and you can see right here under the solid workspace all of my solid body tools are blue, so that's the one I'll choose. All right, now here's what we're going to do, and here's how the shell command works. It's going to take away a side of my object and leave a wall behind. Okay, and we'll tell it how thick to make that wall. So let's go ahead and choose the very bottom of the box. And right now you can see it says how thick should your wall be? 0 millimeters. It won't let you do a 0 millimeter thick wall. Let's just choose 5 millimeters, because each of those letters we know is 5 millimeters away from the edge of the big rectangle. Okay, so that means all of our letters would fit in there. So there I have a 5 millimeter wall, and I can use my view cube to kind of get a preview of what that's going to look like, and I like that. Okay, so let's go ahead and click OK. So now we have just shelled away everything, and I'm just going to look at the top of my box now. And let's go ahead and cut some things into our shell. So this is more like a box lid than it is a full box at this point. And here's how we're going to cut these letters out. I'm going to bring my Extrude Tool open, which is E on my keyboard, and I will choose my 3 letters. So C and M and S. And Fusion 360 is usually pretty good about figuring out, all right, what kind of operation right here. So you can see as I started dragging it up, it wanted it to make a join operation. It wanted to join this positive relief to the top of the lid. Or you can also see, let's bring that back down to 0. If I start dragging it down, you can see that it kind of turns to a red color. Well, that red color means that we are cutting. And you can see if I do that over here, my operation should automatically change to cut. So let's just go ahead. We know that this lid, the very top of it, is 5 millimeters thick. We just did that in our shell command. So if I cut 6 millimeters. That's fine. That means these letters will go all the way through the lid now. Okay, so again, before I click OK, I'm going to make sure that my operation is cut and that I've actually extruded down with my stuff. So I will go ahead and click OK. And there you go. You can see that I cut the letters CMS into the top of our lid there. And I don't need to see this sketch anymore. I don't really need that. So I'm going to go over here and turn it off with the eyeball for the CMS sketch component. Now let's have some other fun there. So I'm going to go change the, well, I'm not going to change yet the look of it. Let's learn about some new tools here. Let's learn about that fillet. Okay, so I'm going to bring open that Fillet Tool. Remember, I could either hit S on my keyboard and type in fillet, and that's F-I-L-L-E-T. Or it's up here under Modify. You can see that it highlighted, and it's also under the Modify menu right there. And this one has a keyboard shortcut of F, so there's lots of ways to get the fillet open. So what fillet is going to do, it's going to take any edge that I have, and it's going to make it round instead of sharp. So right now you can see I have kind of hovering over the M, and the Fillet Tool is asking me with that black line highlight if that's something I want to round off. I'm going to say no to that one right now. Let's go ahead and just round off these corner edges of the box. So do you see that one? That's kind of that up and down edge, that corner edge. So I'm going to select 1 and then 2, and you can see up in my fillet menu it says, oh, I've selected 2 edges so far. Okay, and then we'll select 3, and I might have to use my pan tool here, and I'll hit Escape to get out of my pan tool, and I'll click my 4th edge. Okay, I'll do zoom fit, and let's kind of readjust my view. I want to get it tilted a little bit here. So you can see I have 4 corners selected, and then here is my little fillet arrow, and this is my radius. Radius is, you know, a circle word, and this basically tells us, okay, well, how round should it be? You know, the bigger the radius, the bigger the circle, and that means more round. So I could just play around with that, and oh, if I make it too big, it kind of breaks, and it says that there is a problem. Yeah, you can't make your fillet too big. If your fillet gets too big and those circles that the radius that you're creating won't fit on the shape anymore, it will give you that warning right down here. Okay, so I'll just bring this back. Let's just go ahead and let's use just a 3 millimeter fillet. So you can either drag it or you could type the number 3 point. Oh, we're just 3 into the fillet menu. And let's go ahead and make sure that all 4 of those corners, 1, 2, 3, 4, have that fillet. Okay, let's click OK. Let's do one more thing. These letters are awfully sharp, and that's because they have these inside corners, right? These sharp inside corners. So let's use the Fillet Tool to soften up our letters a little bit there. So I'll choose Fillet. Now, again, I'm going to choose the up and down inside corners. So the letter M, for example, has 1, 2, and I'll go here, 3, and I'm going to on purpose miss a couple. I'm going to on purpose miss these guys up here in the M, and I'll go choose this one, and then this one, and this one, and this one. If you want to select these guys, you can. I just want to show you something kind of neat about the Fillet Tool, just in case you actually did in real life forget to select one of those edges. And I'm going to select this inside corner, And then there's another one right here. Let's move on to the S. I believe I have 4 in the S. I have this inside corner and that inside corner. That's number 2. And then this. I've got to use my view cube a little bit better. This inside corner and this inside corner. All right, so I have everything selected except 1, 2, 3 inside corners. Watch what happens. I'm going to drag this out a little bit here. Okay. Watch some of these highlighted inside corners as I begin to give it a fillet. You can see that rounds it out. Okay. Let's just do a nice 2 millimeter fillet on this one. And remember, I left these guys out on purpose for right now, and you can see it looks funny. Like this top of the M is nice and rounded, but its corresponding bend right there on the bottom is really sharp, so that looks out of place. But let's go ahead and click OK. All right. And, oh no, silly me, I forgot to select some of my edges to fillet. Well, that's okay. What I can do is I could go down to the timeline and I can find which one of these fillets is the one that was responsible for kind of doing those letter corners. And it's not the first fillet, it's that second fillet. And if I click on it, you know, it kind of highlights the fillet that it made. So what I'm going to do is just like a sketch or anything else, if I need to fix something with it, I right-click on it, and I choose Edit, and there's Edit Feature. And so you can see up here I have 15 edges selected, and oh, I didn't have enough selected. So I will make sure that I've clicked on that and it's highlighted, and I'll go Add. Oh, I might actually have to hit Add Selection Set. I might have to hit that button right there. And I might have to go 1 edge, 2 edge, 3 edge. Okay. Okay. And you can see it adds those ones in separately. Oh, actually. Oh, let me actually let me try something here. These ones that I added in separately. Let me hit this X to get rid of them. Let me make sure I go down here. Well, let me, no, not going to let me select the lines. Okay. Not going to let me. Okay. All right, so I will have to do that selection set here. So we'll say, all right, 1, 2, 3. Those were the 3 corners that I forgot. And you can see it has a 0 millimeter. Let's make sure that our fillet radii match. So we'll just enter in 2. And then, yeah, now that matches. So let's go ahead and click OK. There we go. So we've done some interesting things here. We've kind of put a fillet on the corner of the box so that it's nice and round. We put a fillet on the inside corner of the letters so they are nice and round. Let's go ahead real quick here and make the appearance a little bit different. So I'll right click on my body, I'll click appearance, or I could have hit A on my keyboard. And one of the things that I like to use here, let's just stick with the carbon fiber. So that's under miscellaneous, carbon fiber, and plain carbon fiber. So I'm just going to click and drag that and bring that over. And I'll right click on and I'll edit my carbon fiber. Okay. Maybe, do I have to click advanced here? Oh, I think the other carbon fiber that we used wasn't under miscellaneous. So I'm going to right click and I'm going to unassign and delete that. I think the one that I like better always is under other. I don't know why there's 2 carbon fibers, but there is. The one I like, and remember, you don't have, You don't have to use what I'm using. I'll go ahead and download that one. That's interesting. I thought that one would have been downloaded, and I will apply it. Oh, that's interesting. That is very interesting. Okay, well, I don't see the options to adjust the weave and everything, so I guess I'll be satisfied with this. One more time under advanced, though. Base, highlights, roughness, weight, relief, top coat. Okay, I'll click cancel. And there, I kind of like that. Yeah, that's a really neat looking thing there. Okay. That'd be really neat to 3D print, I think. Ooh, you know, we could even 3D print that, put a sheet of like white plastic under here, put some LEDs in there, and that'd be a really cool looking little light. I might have to end up making one of those for the room there. Yeah, definitely. Ooh, change it to say STEM. Anyway, I'm off on a different thing here. Okay. One last thing I want to show you is how can you share this with other people? And you'll actually be expected to share this with me so that you can get credit for this grade. Here's how we do that. It's in the data panel. So we'll go up to data panel. And up here in the data panel, I'm going to look right here. I've got this little globe. You can either click on that little, let's just do that. Let's click on that globe right there. And that will open up whatever internet browser is installed on your computer. This is a fresh install of Windows for me, so I have not yet said, hey, Chrome is my default. So it opened up Microsoft Edge or whatever that is. Not my favorite, but that's just me. All right, so I'm looking here. Oh, yeah, look at that. This is my data panel on the internet, because Fusion 360 is a cloud-based program. So whenever you save something, it really goes to a computer and who knows where. But here are all of my projects that I have on my school account there. So let's open up that Learn Fusion project and find the CMS folder. And then here's the CMS negative relief. So I will double click on that. And you can see it's loading up some information for me here. And I think it will go faster if I have made sure that I've saved my design from Fusion 360. Pop back to the web. Maybe I'll hit refresh, see what that does. Yeah, so. All right, so it's giving me some options here. I don't know why it's not showing me kind of a preview of my design, but this is where it would be. And if I click on View up here, I can actually view that thing right from my browser. It might take it a second or two, but there you go. So look at that. You can see it on the internet, and you can share that with other people, right? If you're like especially proud of something that you've designed, and like, yeah, I think my parents would really like to see that or whatever, you can go right up here to this share link. So you would click on that. And you got some options here. If you want to share it, you got to make sure that this is turned on. So for this assignment, I want you to turn that on so you can share it with me. And then it gives you a link. And if you click that copy button, it will copy that link for you. And then you can choose what people do here. You can allow people to download this design to their computer, so which is really handy if you want if you want to start something and then have another person do part of the work on it, you can share it that way. There's another way that we'll learn a little bit later on about how to collaborate on things. But yeah, for right now, I would just say leave the download link on so that I can download it and check it out in my Fusion 360. Okay. If you really want, you can turn on a password. Let's not turn on a password for this one, though, so I can get into it and give you a grade. All right. So before I get out of here, I want to make sure that I've copied that link. And I can go ahead and click close. And now I have a link to that design. I can share it with other people. So if I pop back into Canvas, you can see right here to turn this in, it asks me to do two things. Number one, paste the link into your design in the submission box of this assignment and submit. And then number two, talk to me when you can explain all the tools listed above. If you can, and I see your link, you'll get points for this assignment. So you'll have to submit the link and tell me what all this stuff is, which we've covered in this video right now. Okay, I'm ready to turn this in. So there will be this blue button that maybe looked like it just magically appeared on your screen because I probably cut a chunk of this video out. You have this blue button up here that says Start Assignment. You'll click that. Remember, we have our link copied right here under website URL. I'm going to just paste that link, and there it is. And when I'm ready to turn that in, I'll click Submit Assignment, and that will send that right to me. All right, I really like the way that this thing looks. They're a lot of fun to make. I really like fillets. It kind of gives a really neat, polished look to a lot of your designs. Well, yeah, a lot of fun stuff in here. So we've learned how to do negatives, fillets, shelling, all kinds of fun stuff, how to view your stuff on the internet and share links with other people. All right, you guys are doing awesome. I love going over this stuff with you. Can't wait to see what you turn in here. Thank you.